Yo, your new bed is here. Wanna see? See? It's like a mini couch for you. Perfect spot. Perfect. Let's see, buddy. Wanna try your new bed? That's your new bed. Do you wanna lay on it? No? No. You don't like it? No, 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 no. No. The bed. The bed, not the couch. The bed. Come on. Here's your new bed. Come on, lay on. Lay on the bed. Oh, God. You know, we tried. And in this video, I want to tell the story of my trip to Japan.
Welcome to Japan!
I've never won the lottery. I've never won any contest. And the one time I went to a casino, I lost. I received an email from a Japanese woman in New York asking me if I wanted to be on a Japanese TV show. It sounded like a scam, to be honest, so I deleted the email, but she was persistent. She kept emailing, and one time I decided to just answer and be like, okay. Once we got to talk, I found out what this is all about. And in Japanese, the show is called Nippon ni Ikitai, and it's often translated as I want to go to Japan. The show is produced by a bunch of production companies in Tokyo, and it airs on TV Tokyo usually on Mondays at 8 at night. It's a primetime show. The premise of the show is that they go to many different countries around the world and they find foreigners who are interested in particular pieces of the Japanese culture. So when they find a guest that is interested in that particular part of Japanese culture, the producers will create a dream trip to Japan where this guest can experience all the best things about what they're interested in. Of course, in my case, with Japanese calligraphy.
エステバンさんが好きな日本のものとはそう書道うわーうまいしかもなかなかの腕前
綺麗
So how do you say no to that? Well, you don't. You just say, yes, I want to go to Japan. Of course, there are logistics that needed to be worked out. For example, when is this trip happening? What about expenses? Is everything covered? What about food? Where am I going to stay? How am I going to get there? There were a lot of questions that needed to be answered. It turns out that they pay for everything. Of course, you're responsible for any personal expenses. So if you want to buy souvenirs, if you want to buy presents, or if you want to buy anything that's for you that has nothing to do with the show, then obviously those expenses are on you. So you have to work all those logistics out, and once all that is ironed out, the producers will send a crew, a filming crew from Japan to your house to meet you and interview on camera.
ちょっとあっち日本語ですよ。和合って書いてある。表札ですかね。すごいですね。
和合さん
Good morning.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
日本のテレビなんですけれども。
エステバン。
エステバンさん。
エステバン。
よろしくお願いします。Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So they come in and they hang out with you at your house for a whole day and they meet your family. So they interview my wife, try to interview my kids.
育ち盛りの2人の子供を育てるエステバンさん
But their main purpose of coming all the way from Japan to meet you is that they want to find out more about you're interested in the Japanese culture and what do you want to do if you get to go to Japan. So in terms of places, like we talked earlier, the 4 treasures of Shodo, which has so I would like to be able to learn a little bit more about those specific things.
文房手法とは書道において欠かせない
So as soon as they got here, they wanted to go ahead and go to the studio and see what I do there.
日本のものが地下室に
なんだろうでもやっぱ調理師の先生か食べ物かな
失礼します。おおすごい。 書がいっぱい飾ってあります。
うまいな。
Everything here is mine. I brush everything that's in here.
うまいやん。
ご自分で描かれた。素晴らしい。
You can say that the format of the show is half reality TV and the other half documentary. So in my case, they talk about Kukai, which is one of the most prominent figures of Japanese calligraphy because he is credited as the person who developed the hiragana.
弘法大師空海など優れた書道家たちが日本ならではの文字の美しさを追求。実際に中国で主流だった書き方と空海のものを比較すると、
確かに全然違う。
柔らかい。
中国の書は力強くはっきり書かれているのに対し、空海は曲線的で濃淡があり、より優雅な印象に。
字の美しい表現を追求した文化が日本の書道なんです。他の国では見られない芸術ですよ。
They also talk about Yamaoka Teshu because that was an interest of mine and part of the trip was based on this person that a lot of Japanese people do not know who he is. Who is Yamaoka Teshu?
身長188センチの剣の達人でありながら、書道においても当時日本一と言われるほど達筆だった山岡鉄舟。
So after they met you and they interview and they spend the entire day with you doing all kinds of stuff and asking you all kinds of questions, then after that is basically the reveal. And this is where you don't know, but this is where they're gonna tell you that you were selected, and they again do that on camera.
I just have something to give you.
Alright, what is it? What is that? So I was selected.
You're going to Japan!
Nice!
Yay!
Nice!
You're going to Japan!
I call it to come
すると
Hey,
Hi!
so I'm going.
Oh my god! That is so great! That is so great!
The flight to Japan is 13 hours long, which is the longest flight I've ever been. I was genuinely concerned about spending 13 hours on an airplane. Mostly because when you spend 13 hours on an airplane, you don't look good, you don't feel good, you are jet lagged, you are filled with excitement because you are going to Japan. But boy, it's a long trip. And the minute you get out of the airplane, the cameras are waiting for you.
そして10日後、書道を愛するエステバンさん、念願の初来日。
Now this is what I enjoyed both the most and the least about this whole experience is that as soon as you get there is go, 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 go non-stop. Fresh off the plane, we took the Shinkansen, the bullet train, straight to Kyoto. We got to Kyoto late at night. We stayed on a cheap hotel, went to bed, up the next morning at 6 a.m. to start shooting.
この日向かったのは京都嵐山。
My first stop when we went to Kyoto was to visit Tenryu-ji temple. Tenryu-ji.
天龍寺。
世界遺産天龍寺。エステバンさんの熱意を伝えたところ、快く撮影を受け入れてもらいました。
最高。
I wanted to go to Tenryu-ji because he has a connection to my lineage of Zen training. I train in the Rinzai Zen style of Zen Buddhism, and Tenryu-ji is a Rinzai Zen temple. Also, Tenryu-ji is the head temple for which my lineage stems from. Basically what it means is that the teacher of my teacher of my teacher of my teacher came from Tenryu-ji. an entire video talking about how beautiful and special Tenryu-ji is. It's considered a World Heritage Site. It's a very busy place. There are tourists everywhere, both local and foreigner. But because I was with a TV crew, we got to go there before it opened. So there were nobody around. We got Tenryu-ji just for ourselves. The other thing that I got to do there that was really special was that we got to visit the Dharma Hall. And on the ceiling of the Dharma Hall, there's a painting of the cloud dragon, the protector of the temple.
一般には公開されていませんが、墨で描かれたもう一匹の竜が八塔の天井に。
It was special not only because the Dharma Hall was impressive and the painting was outstanding.
どこから見ても竜と目が合う雲竜図。
本当だ、どこから見ても目が合う。
But because it's not usually open to the public, it's only open for very short periods of time throughout the year. The film crew had to ask the abbot directly permission to be there and film, and he was with us the entire time. There are absolutely no cameras, no pictures allowed. I have no footage, I have no photos of the Dharma Hall or the dragon painting. The only camera that was allowed with us was the cameraman. Unfortunately, we were on a really tight schedule, so I didn't get to spend as much time at Tenryu-ji as I wanted to. You could spend the entire day there. It's a very big place and there's a lot to see. After Tenryu-ji Temple, we visited a calligraphy school in Kyoto called the Shodo Kaikan. Here I have one of their brushes. Let's see. Shodo Kaikan. This is a pretty large calligraphy association. They have a school in Kyoto and they do classes, they do exhibitions, they do everything related to calligraphy. I got to attend a calligraphy class with one of their instructors, and at the time of filming, she was teaching kids. She was teaching some high schoolers all the way to elementary students, and they were doing this as an after-school program, which I thought was really interesting. I don't know any kid here in the United States that would do calligraphy as an after-school program, but they were really nice and they were really good. Their skill level was, wow, it was really impressive. And I got to spend some time with her, and that was really, really amazing. It was my opportunity to be able to experience learning calligraphy in Japan at a calligraphy school, you know, with a teacher in a school setting.
実はエステバンさん、京都の書道教室にも。
一辺でそれだけ綺麗に入るって素晴らしいですね。
どうもありがとう。
日本の子供たちのレベルに。
うまいね、この子。めっちゃ上手やん。
すごい。
It was really eye-opening to me because not only I learned a lot, but it made me realize how much I'm doing different and how much I'm doing the same, even though my upbringing for my calligraphy practice has not been in that type of setting. Of course, between all the shooting and traveling, I was able to take a moment and stop and experience life in Japan. Was able to just absorb where I was. I got to do a little sightseeing, talk to some locals, and learn more about the people that lived there. And also I got to eat. And food in Kyoto was amazing. We had lunch one time at this really tiny restaurant that was local. It was not a chain or anything like that. A really small local restaurant. And I had katsudon, which is a local dish made out of katsu, which is pork cutlet. And oh man, it was so good. It was so good. And everything that I ate while I was there was just amazing. Those guys, they knew I was a chef. And even though the episode was not focused on food, they were always constantly asking me, what do you think about the food? What do you think about the food? And it was just one of the best foods I've ever had. Like I said, I spent a whole week in Japan, and there's a lot to talk about, but I feel like this video is starting to get a little too long. And I wanted to focus on this video on getting to Japan and talk a little bit about what the show is and my first stop, which was Kyoto. I'm gonna make another video later on where I talk about the Toyohashi Fude, which was my second stop, was meeting a master brush maker that makes Japanese calligraphy brushes, and also my other stop, which was Amehata. That's where I got my Susuri stone that was carved specifically for me from stones from the mountains of Amehata. So that's it for this video, which is, I think, part 1 of my little story on how I got to go to Japan and be on a TV show. So if you have any questions that are specific about either the TV show or the experience or my trip to Japan, what I did there, what I saw, leave a comment and I'll answer you in the comments below and maybe use some of those as ideas to elaborate a little bit more on the next videos. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you soon.